The Disney College Program, a dream for many students all over the world. But more than that, a dream situation for Disney. Bright-eyed college students make their pilgrimage to the Walt Disney World Resort, and laid out for them, whether they know it or not, is Disney's master plan. A plan that sees Disney win and make money every step of the way. The Disney College Program isn't just about Disney double or even triple dipping, and when it ultimately comes back, it will be much clearer to see Disney's true intentions behind the program. For Review Time, I'm Luke, and this is the secret genius of the Disney College Program. This year in 2021, the Disney College Program should be celebrating its 40th birthday, as, after a few trial runs in the years before, the program would officially begin in 1981, then known as the Magic Kingdom College Program. The first year would see 250 students from 20 schools around the US receive a place in the program. That number would quickly grow though to see the close to 10,000 CPs a year who have taken the program in recent times. At the beginning, participants stayed at the magical sounding Snow White Village Campground on Seven Dwarves Lane in Kissimmee, Florida, which was located off Disney World property around a 20-minute drive from the Magic Kingdom. Whilst the name may sound exciting, in reality the facility was a mobile home park, where the participants would essentially stay in temporary housing for their entire program. Housing requirements grew with the program, and in 1988, Disney would construct a more permanent housing complex for their college programmers, the world-famous Vista Way, a place I was lucky, or is that unlucky enough, to live for half of my Disney International program in 2015. The continual growth would in turn see even more housing options open up, with the Commons in 1998, Chatham Square in 2000, where I lived for the second half of my program, and Patterson Court in 2008. Only a year after the Magic Kingdom College Program started, the first international program was offered in 1982, beginning in conjunction with the opening of World Showcase at Epcot. This area would be staffed by 90 students from the varying represented countries which circled the lagoon. International programs would also see quick expansions to many countries around the world. They are understandably close to my heart, as the Australia/New Zealand Cultural Exchange Program is the reason I've had the opportunity to work at Disney World. Of course, the Disney College Program isn't just an excuse to eat, drink, and sleep around the world, and college credits and courses have almost always been a part of the program. I was tempted to partake in some of these classes, but they take up your days off, which is a big ask when you're already working for the mouse at least 40 hours a week. In August of 2006, the college program would see its largest ever expansion, when Disneyland welcomed its first participants, with the entire program seeing its name changed to the mouthful Disney Theme Parks and Resorts College Program, or more simply known nowadays as the Disney College Program, or the DCP. One of the biggest things to happen on the program, though, happened last year in 2020, when on the 14th of March, all participants were told they had to depart housing by 11 a.m. in 4 days. This was of course related to the pandemic shutdowns the parks experienced at the time. Since then though, the college programs have stayed quiet. However, I don't see this as completely killing off the DCP over time, as Disney gains way too much from the program. It's obvious to see from the growth of the DCP over the years that it's been incredibly successful for the Disney company. But the college program for Disney is about so much more than bringing in cheap labor. And at every step of the process, Disney is making money. And that is the secret genius of the Disney College Program, and the reason I think it will be back in some form as soon as possible. Disney doesn't just double dip when it comes to the college program. In some ways, they even triple and quadruple dip into ways they make money thanks to their CPs. In the most simple sense, in multiple ways, Disney gets back what they pay their workers. It's a truly genius cycle. The first way Disney wins with the DCP is probably the most obvious. When you're living and working at Disney, chances are you're going to spend a lot of your time off and money at Disney, with some college program cast members giving a majority of their paycheck back to Disney. Because hey, why would you do the DCP if you weren't already a Disney fan? The program is almost designed to feel like an extended working holiday. And when you go on holiday to Disney, you want to spend big on merchandise and food and experiences. Giving cast members free access to the theme parks is a clever way to make them spend more money once they're within them. And CPs are known to spend huge amounts more money when in the parks than their full-time colleagues. Another clever way Disney gets you to spend more money is at the beginning or end dates of each program conveniently line up with the 40% off merchandise cast members are offered during the holiday season. And the beginning and ends of your program are when you're likely to buy the most stuff. Also, this isn't to mention all of the specific merchandise made for and only available to CPs and cast members, which my co-host Dom was also lucky enough to get because we managed to sneak him into Disney University. Sorry, Disney. Another sneaky way Disney controls their college program participants is with the Disney-offered transport options made available to them. If the bus you go on manages to get to its destination without catching on fire, you'll notice that the destinations you can travel to are pretty much solely contained within the Disney bubble. And when Disney makes it easier to get to Disney Springs than to go shopping, you're probably going to end up eating on property more than you thought. When I was a CP, it was over an hour round-trip bus ride to Walmart, the only place on a Disney-offered route to do the groceries. But it was only a 5-minute ride to Disney Springs, or around 20 to each of the 4 parks. The other major way Disney wins with the college program is the housing costs. Whilst Disney may not make as much money as it would first seem when you look at the housing prices, I'm sure they are making a nice little cut of the profits. At the pausing of the college program last year, housing prices ranged from $111 a week in a Vistaway 3-bedroom 6-person apartment to $200 a week in the Commons 1-bedroom 2-person apartment. And those costs are not per room, but per person. While some of these apartment options work out at $1,000 a week in total rent, they did include all electricity, water, internet, and transport. Ultimately, you could choose to stay off property and pick your own apartment, but for the full CP experience, you'd want to be in housing, and therefore forced to pay Disney's asking price, which Disney utilizes to pay the staff who run the on-site programs, as well as paying the housing management company before taking their share. There are other smaller ways Disney wins in the end with the college program participants, with things such as CP wages only being $11 an hour when full-timers earn $14, and also not receiving a lot of the benefits of full-time employment. However, after being paused for the pandemic, it looks like the DCP might look and feel quite different when it eventually returns. The future of the DCP is looking interesting to say the least, in no small part due to a little development called Flamingo Crossings. Flamingo Crossings is set to be the new home to all Disney College Program participants at the Walt Disney World Resort. Built to house 10,000 DCPs, the brand new location, originally announced in 2007, has a raft of benefits for Disney over the old housing locations. At full build-out, Flamingo Crossings will be more than just college program housing. It will also be home to 1,750 hotel rooms across 7 hotels and over 200,000 square feet of retail, anchored by a massive Target. And unlike previous housing facilities, all of Flamingo Crossings is located on Disney-owned land. All of the earlier locations from Vista Way to the Commons have now been closed and stripped of their furniture, with Disney not renewing their leases, meaning any future CPs will live in Flamingo Crossings. This allows for several benefits to Disney over the previous options. First, Disney no longer has to offer transport off-property. Groceries can now be done within walking distance in the Flamingo Crossings area, and all of the shops will pay Disney for their tenancy, not just collecting rent from CPs, but now also from the stores. Furthermore, the new apartments are developed, owned and managed by American campus communities, but with it being on property, Disney will now be able to charge them more for that privilege. Also, if your family comes to visit, I guess it will be easy for them to stay in one of the budget-friendly Flamingo Crossing hotels, all of who are also giving money back to Disney. As a former CP, Flamingo Crossing housing looks impressive, if not crazily expensive, for someone earning $11 an hour. Each apartment will contain a full-size washer and dryer, open-plan kitchen, electronic keys, and a smart TV, with the facility also containing a 24-hour gym, gaming area, and a community center. Though all of this will come at a cost of $165 to $205 per week per person in either a 2 or 4 bedroom setup, which will be close to 50% of some of these cast members' wages, which is astronomical. Currently, there are no CPs, but the Flamingo Crossing apartments are ready to go, meaning they are at this stage being offered exclusively to cast members in lease terms of 6 to 12 months. Ultimately, I'm sure the Disney College program will be back. It's a dedicated, cheaper group of cast members that at some times of the year essentially run the resort. However, I feel in the immediate future, the department will be shrunk dramatically, just as the entire cast member base has been. Disney has just laid off over 28,000 employees. It's not going to look great if they rush to fill those spaces with CPs earning $11 an hour and having to work 20 hours in a week just to pay rent. Throughout the entire college program's run, Disney has won every step of the way, with cheaply paid cast members who give back most of their wage to Disney. But for me, as an ex-international college programmer, it was all worth it. I met some amazing people, got to live out my Disney dreams, still came back to Australia with a little bit of money left. And for me, that's all I could have asked for and more. But what do you think of the college program in its future? Let us know in the comments. From the home of all things theme parks, I'm Luke for ReviewTyme. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. If so, be sure to like and subscribe, and also tune into our podcast, ReviewTyme's Theme Park Cast, available on your podcasting platform of choice. We'll see you next week.